Hi guys, Jill here from Lavender and Friends, and today is Are You OK Day. Now this is aimed at breaking the stigma around mental illness and also encouraging people to talk about their feelings and emotions and also suicide prevention. Now this is something that I'm actually quite passionate about because I was actually diagnosed with postnatal depression with my daughter, and it was something that was a very dark period in my life, and it's something that I really want to, I guess, talk about and share with you and give you some strategies and support for that. Now, postnatal depression is actually quite a prevalent thing in Australia. It's believed that up to 1 in 7 mums experience postnatal depression, and it's not just the mums, up to 1 in 10 dads can experience it too. Now, having a baby is just, it's a wonderful time. It's a big period of change. It's something you've hoped for and dreamed of and, you've been preparing for, or maybe it's something that came as a bit of a surprise. But either way, it is a big change in your life and it can have a massive effect on you. And I know for us, it was something we'd hoped and prayed and dreamed for. So it was a big change to our system. Now, I've got a reference sheet from Hannah. I'm going to refer to it a bit because I might get a bit emotional. Some of the signs and symptoms of postnatal anxiety and depression. Now, when people have a baby, there is a huge hormonal change, and there is a thing called the baby blues, and that's, you can be a little bit sad after having a baby, and that's normal. But postnatal depression is where, I guess to explain, is it's when the bad days are outweighing the good. It's when there isn't a light at the end of the tunnel. It's when every day you're just waking up and crying, and sorry, I get really emotional just talking about it. And so postnatal depression can be quite a serious thing. And I was very lucky in that my husband has an anxiety disorder, so he actually picked up quite quickly what was going on. But something you might be able to look out for in your friends or even in yourself is things like having panic attacks, just literally being too scared to leave the house. And I know I definitely experienced that a few times. Having just a persistent generalized worry or fears. It can be fears for the baby's health, fears for your own health. It can be being obsessive and compulsive with behaviors, having abrupt mood swings, going from just being on top of the world and thinking everything's great, and then 5 minutes later you're sobbing on the floor hysterically. And it can be like that. Your emotions just very up and down. You can be really nervous, really edgy, really panicky. Again, I know for me, leaving the house was a really big challenge because I was always worried what's going to happen, and just I really struggled with that. Feeling constantly tired, having a lacking of energy, having a lack in appetite, having little or no interest in friends. And this is one thing I will definitely say is that for me, I'm a very social person. I love going out, I love spending time with my friends. But when I had the postnatal depression, I literally didn't want to see anyone. If friends would say, hey, let's come, let's hang out, I'd just be like, oh, no. And I was very lucky. I had a few friends who didn't take no for an answer and would come over, and I always felt much better after they did visit. But I did sort of dread them coming, thinking, oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And even just that would make me anxious. Sleeping too much or not sleeping at all. Losing interest in sex or intimacy. Withdrawing from friends and family. Being easily annoyed, irritated, being difficult to focus. And not the most important, but the scariest one is having thoughts about death or suicide. And if you are having thoughts about that, please reach out and get help. Please talk to a friend, get some help. Sorry, I'll just take a moment. So I'll just basically share a little bit about my story. So our daughter was born 2 years ago, and we were really excited that she was coming. It was so exciting, but she didn't sleep very well, and she was a very high needs baby, and she cried a lot, and it was very stressful. And I struggled a lot with the lack of sleep. I love my sleep. I'm go to bed at 9 p.m, wake up at 6 a.m, love my 8 hours straight. And it was a big shock to have, such a, this little tiny human that arrived that didn't sleep and was very stressful. And basically ended up getting sent to Tresillian because she was really having difficulty sleeping, wasn't sleeping during the day, wasn't sleeping at night. And while we were at Tresillian, they had a psychiatrist who spoke to me, and she identified me as having postnatal depression. And once we finished with Tresillian, they actually referred me to a local social worker and a local psychologist, and I ended up getting treatment in terms of being put on antidepressants. Now, antidepressants can be a wonderful thing. I just want to say, I know there's a lot of stigma, and there's people that say, oh, they're just a band-aid solution. If you're at the stage where you're thinking about killing yourself, you take anything you can to help you get past that. And if that's an antidepressant, then that's an antidepressant. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing wrong with that. And, if anything, you should be proud of yourself for being strong enough to reach out for help and to get the help you need. Now, the thing with the antidepressants I found, though, for me, is they kind of made me just feel flat. Like I didn't feel the depressed and the anxious and I calmed down, but I also didn't feel the highs and the joys and the happiness. And so fortunately I didn't have to be on them for too long, and I worked with a psychologist to be able to develop some coping strategies, and I was able to come off them. Took about a year for our daughter to start sleeping, and eventually things started improving. And she's now a beautiful, beautiful child who we love dearly, and it's wonderful. The thing about postnatal depression as well that I'll say is it is the most recoverable form of depression. So if you do have it and you think this is never going to end, it's never going to get better, it can get better and it will get better, and do reach out to get help. The other thing as well I'll say is when we found out I was pregnant again, I was extremely anxious. The first pregnancy, I was so excited and overjoyed and couldn't wait to meet the baby. Whereas this time, I must say, it was a bit more stressful because I kept thinking, what if I go through this again? What if I, fall off that dark ledge? What if? And I was actually lucky. A girl, my mum's group actually gave me some really wise words. She had postnatal depression with 3 of her children, but not her 4th. And she said, you have to be prepared for both. You have to be prepared that, yes, you might get depression again, and you reach out and start preparing yourself now, but also be prepared that you might not get it, and you might be able to experience the joy and the happiness and not have that sadness. So when we found out I was pregnant again, I reached out to my social worker and started working with her. And fortunately, when my son was born, I didn't have the postnatal depression, and it was a very different experience. And I'm really grateful that I guess I could have that experience of the joy and having a baby without the depression, but it I guess in a way highlights the struggles I went through with my first baby and how difficult it is. And it can be really challenging as well if you have a friend with postnatal depression, and the only thing I would really suggest is just be there for them. Whether it's sending them a text message at 2 a.m. saying, hey, I'm thinking of you. Whether it's just dropping around with a batch of homemade muffins saying, I know things are tough, I made you some food. Just be there for them and love them and care for them. And even if all they do is sit on the couch and cry and say how miserable they are, just support them and love them through that, because that's what I had. And I was so grateful to those friends who did stand by me, even though I know I wasn't a little bundle of sunshine and it was quite stressful. Now, I did say I'd talk about essential oils, so I'm going to talk about now what I do now. So since having the postnatal depression, I do get anxiety, and I did share with you about a week or so ago about what I keep in my handbag for my anxiety, but I'll just kind of recap some of the stuff that I use to help me with that. The first one I want to bring up is frankincense. Now, frankincense is really good for anxiety. I do a drop under my tongue, or I put a drop on my finger on the roof of my mouth, and I find when I'm getting really worked up and stressed, it just calms me down. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes, and I just feel this feeling of peace come through me. So this is one that I try to take when I need it, or if I know I'm going to be having a stressful situation, or I've had a bad night and I haven't had much sleep, I'll definitely start my day off with some frankincense just to sort of get me calm, get me focused, and help me feeling under control. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is lavender paste. This is, the minute I took the cap off the bottle of this, I wanted to literally bathe in it. One of the biggest issues I had with the postnatal depression was I really struggled with sleeping. I would lie there just waiting for the baby to cry and going, what's the point in going to sleep? She's just going to cry. The minute I close my eyes, she's going to cry. And I would get so stressed and so worked up that I physically couldn't switch off and sleep. And I found even with my second baby, I did struggle to sort of switch off and relax. And I found lavender paste has been such a big help for that. So I put it in my diffuser when I'm sleeping. I also have a little roller bowl made up, and I put it on the bottom of my feet and the back of my neck. So even if I wake up in the middle of the night and have to go into the baby or to my toddler, before I hop into bed, I pop this back on, and just the scent of it I find very calming and very relaxing, and that's something that I've really found helpful. Now, the next one is balance. Now, I actually didn't get balance for the first couple of months of having oils, and I don't know what I was thinking, because now I use it every single day. It's the grounding blend. So I put a drop on the bottom of my feet every single morning, 1 drop on each foot, and I also love to wear it in my diffuser necklace so I can smell it. If I'm having a shocker day and I'm just really feeling stressed out, I'll often put just a couple drops on my hands and just breathe it in deeply and just take a couple of seconds, a couple of deep breaths, and I find it really does help me just to calm down, gather my thoughts, stop that panicky spiral I can get into, and I find it's a really, really good blend that I love. Now, another thing I'll talk about is the oils. The scents of the oils can actually impact your mood. So if you're really tired or sad or having a bit of a bad day, you can put in some oils that are going to create an uplifting scent. So I'm just going to quickly talk about 2 of the combinations I love. So the first is lavender. As you guys know, I love lavender, and lemongrass. Now, I find this blend together, it makes me think of a fancy day spa. It's happy, it's uplifting, but it's calming. This is what I like to put in the diffuser in the morning when we're having breakfast. Just gets the day started off right. It's just a really nice, beautiful scent that I love. The other one I'm going to talk about quickly is lemon. So I call lemon sunshine in a bottle. I really love lemon, and I find, again, it's a good one just to take a quick sniff of if I'm feeling a bit down or I need something kind of pick me up. I find just a smell of lemon always puts a smile on my face. I love drinking it in my water as well, and I find another big thing for me is obviously self-care. When you have depression, you don't really care about yourself. You don't really care about eating healthy. You don't even want to have showers. It's quite bad. And often I would struggle to drink water. And obviously, as a breastfeeding mum, you need to drink lots and lots of water so you have enough milk for your baby. So I find adding any oils, grapefruit, lemon, orange, lime, any sort of flavoring to my water encourages me to drink more water, and that of course is going to help me in terms of staying hydrated, having enough, being able to make milk for the baby, and just kind of again helps me just to not, I guess, get lost and overwhelmed. Now, the only other thing I want to say is obviously if you are struggling with postnatal depression, if you feel like you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, if you want to reach out, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to share my experience with you. And the other thing is there are some really fabulous resources you can take advantage of. First of all, your GP. Find a local GP that you trust, make an appointment, go in and talk to them. And it can be really scary to go in and say that you're struggling with having a baby, but be honest and be open with them, and they can definitely help you out. And they'll know local resources you can draw upon. So where I live, we have what's called the Care Cottage, and they specifically support mums with new babies, and they were fabulous support to me, and I'm so grateful for that. And where you live, there's probably something similar, some sort of a local health initiative that can help you. Another thing you can, another place you can reach out to is Beyond Blue and also Panda. So Panda is the Perinatal Anxiety and Depression Australia. They actually have a national helpline that you can call Mondays to Fridays between 9 and 7:30 p.m. And their number is 1300 726 306. That's 1300 726 306. I'll put links to these on the page as well today, and if you are struggling, please do get help. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I love being a mum. I love my children. I love the time I have with them, and I do look back on that time that I had where I had the depression. It does make me sad. I feel like I was robbed some of the joy that I should have had, and I hate for any other mum to go through that. So I hope you found this useful. If you have, please make a comment and let me know. As always, you can check out my website, lavenderandfriends.com. And if you want to find out more about how you can get some of these oils for yourself, please again be in touch, and I can help you set up an account, get them at the best price, and support you on that journey. I hope you have a lovely day, and just remember, today's a great day to be asking your friends, are you okay?